Chapter 20. Meet Hezekiah, a good king in Israel who ruled for around 29 years. I was the 13th king of Israel and found favor in the Lord. I reigned from around 700 to 680 BC. In those days, Hezekiah was very sick to the point of death, and Isaiah came to speak with him. Isaiah was a godly priest that was very faithful to the Lord. Thus says the Lord, I will add 15 years to your life, and will deliver you from the house of the Assyrians, and defend this city for my sake and for my servant David's sake. And what will be the sign, says Hezekiah? If your shadow goes back 10 steps, this will be true, and you'll be healed. The Lord brought back the shadow of King Hezekiah 10 steps on the steps of Ahaz, and was healed. At that time, the king of Babylon had been sending gifts. Where was I? Because Hezekiah was sick. Hezekiah showed him all the riches and treasures of Israel and of his palace. See, there are all my treasures. My country is strong. Yes, how great your country is. And after that, Isaiah came to Hezekiah again. Pause. And Isaiah said to Hezekiah, what have they seen in your house? Hezekiah responded, they have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing in my storehouses that I did not show them. And then Isaiah said, there shall come a day when the Babylonians will take all that you have and carry it back to their own land. Nothing shall be left. Hezekiah was surprised and said, that is all right for me, because there will be no peace and security in my days. All you have said will happen after I die. And Hezekiah died, leaving his son Manasseh as king. Chapter 21. Manasseh was 12 years old and became king, and he reigned over Israel for 55 years. King Manasseh was a wicked king. He made altars for Baal and rebuilt the high places that his father... Yikes. Ah! Oh, crap. Oh. And I will stretch over Jerusalem the measuring line of Samaria and the plumb line of the house of Ahab, and I will wipe Jerusalem as one wipes a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down. And I will forsake the remnant of my heritage, and give them into your hand of the enemies. And they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies, because they have done what is evil in the sight of the Lord, and have provoked me to anger. Since the day of their fathers came out of Egypt, even to this day. Manasseh killed many innocent people, till he had piled up bodies in Jerusalem from one end to the other. And Manasseh slept with his fathers and was buried in the garden of Uzziah, and Amon, his son, reigned in his place. Oh, I didn't pause it! Amon was 22 years old when he began to reign, and reigned for just 2 years in Jerusalem. Amon did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, as his father Manasseh, had done. He was so bad that his servants conspired against him and put Amon to death. And they put Josiah, his son, in his place. Chapter 22. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned for 31 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jedidiah, the daughter of Adiah of Bozkath. And he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and walked in the way of David his father. And he did not turn aside to the right or to the left. And Shaphan said to the high priest, "Go up to Hilkiah." Oh, no. No. And Josiah said to Shaphan, "Go up to Hilkiah the high priest, count the money that is in the temple which has been collected. Give it to a workman so he can count the money that has been brought into the house of the Lord. He can buy things for the temple of the Lord, and the extras will be for repairing the house of the Lord." And in doing so, Shaphan found the book of the law, and he brought it to the high priest. And the high priest brought it to Josiah. The high priest said, "I have found a book. I will read. I found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. Here is the book of the law. I'll read a section for you." So he read the section of the book of the law to King Josiah. When the king heard it, he tore his cloth, told him to ask the Lord what to do next. The Lord answered and said, "I will bring disaster upon this place and upon its inhabitants. All the words of the book of the king of Judah has read, because they have forsaken me and will have made offerings to other gods. They might provoke me to anger with all the work of their hands. Therefore my wrath will be kindled against this place, and it will not be quenched. But to the king of Judah, who sent you to inquire of this, the Lord, thus shall you say to him, Thus the Lord, the king of the Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, regarding the words that you have read, because your heart was repentant and you humbled yourself before the Lord, when you heard how I spoke against this place and against its inhabitants, that they should become a desolation and a curse. You have torn your clothes and wept before me. I also have heard you declares the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will gather you to your fathers, and you shall be gathered to the grave in peace. Your eyes shall not see the disaster that will bring upon this place." And they told these kings their words. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do the summary or the thoughtful questions, so I'm just going to leave them out. Okay. I'm done now.